Grant Emerald SPUR, you're 2 from 2 on him. What's the key to getting this horse to perform the way that he has lately?
He's sort of a horse that likes to drop back, relax in the early part, and he's got a nice kick on him. I've won on him from being up there as well, but I had a good draw that day, and he came out fairly well, and he doesn't like to be bustled all day. Yeah, his main asset is his turn of foot, so as long as I get him in a nice position where he has a nice rhythm going, he has a nice kick to him. There looks to be some pace in the race, so I'm sure he'll have a good kick.
He's had a bit of time since that last start win. You went to Chungfa to ride him in a trial. How's he feeling?
Oh, he's feeling good. His trial was really good, so as I said, as long as I have a nice position on him, I don't have to make up too much ground, he'll give me a nice finish.
So he's 2 from 2 with you this season. He's a horse who's always showed some sort of promise, top of class 4. Can he win again?
Yeah, he can definitely win again. I don't think it's the strongest of fields, but there is certainly also 2 in there that is also ready to win again. But he's a horse that's also improving, and I think he's a real nice horse. If he just continues good form, you'll do well.
So he's your ride on the first on our biggest day of racing for the year, Longines Hong Kong International Races. You ride Seasons Bloom in the sprint. Can he give you his first Hong Kong Group 1?
I really hope so. Look, I'm going into the race with confidence. Look, it's obviously a really strong field, but I've got the worst barrier out of the lot. It wasn't great to see, but he's a horse that drop backs anyway. And look, I think if they go really fast up front, he could be a horse that will turn it on. His last win was really good, and he had a nice finish on him. So if he does the same thing, you never know.
Roger, great to see you here in Hong Kong with ASPETAR. He's drawn barrier 11 for the Vars. You saw him out on the track this morning. What are your thoughts?
I'm happy with him. He's not a very big horse, but he's a tough horse. He seems to have taken the travel well. He seems eating very well, and he's kind of fresh, buzzy little horse naturally. When you see him in the paddock before the Vars, he'll be on his toes, and when the jockey gets on, he's always charging about all over the place. Once he gets out on the track, he's pretty good. I think we bring horses here that have kind of done their work before they get here, if you like. I don't think he's ever needed a lot of work. He's a clean-winded horse, so really once we're here, we're just ticking over. I don't have any plans to sort of breeze him or do anything very fast. I think he's going to have a spin round on the turf tomorrow. But otherwise, it's just a question of getting into a good routine and getting your horse kind of happy and relaxed and presenting them on Sunday in good shape as we can.
Group 1 winner in Germany last time out. He's done a lot of his racing this season in Germany and France. How do you assess his form coming into Sunday?
I think he'd be fair, would struggle in a Group 1 race in England. He won a fair Group 2 in France, and then, he's an owner-bred horse, so it's important for me to build black type for the mare and for the family, and it's a good family. And we having won a Group 2, it didn't seem a lot of point in trying to win another Group 2 with a penalty, if you like. So we found a Group 1 race that wouldn't have been the strongest race, but he won it pretty well. And that was 2.5 months ago, so the timing is good. So this would be a natural sort of progression. I think he just needs to, come on again to beat the best of them. But I think it's an open-looking contest, actually.
He seems okay. He's only had the one start this preparation, but I think everything in order with him. He seems to feel well. He looks good. A little bit of cool weather this week has picked the horses up, and I think he's fresh enough to run a good race.
He's never won second up before. Is that an important statistic or a meaningless statistic?
Well, I think statistics, you can make anything you want out of them, but you obviously should take some notice of them also. So, yeah, every statistic has some weight. I'd be interested to see if he could defy that. You couldn't sort of argue about his consistency. He's never been out of the first 3 in all of his racing career. So I'm not sure that his form fluctuates that much.
DB Pidden second up as well too. He's gone close in this race in the last couple of years. Gate 13, does that bother you?
That won't help him at all, but I think with a full field, it's probably plenty of pressure in the race, and he can run from back in the field, so maybe he can run a good race from there.
Hot King Prawn, interesting comment from you through the week. Do you feel we mightn't have seen him at his absolute best? Were you happy with what he did first up?
Yeah, sure. I wouldn't think he could do any more. He's returned on a pretty high figure after a long break, so if he can repeat that or improve on it, he'll sort of go close to winning the race.
He's a horse that's obviously shown a lot from day one. For his age, he's lightly raced. Is that, no, he had the Covak, but overall has it been a safely approach with him through his career?
Mostly has been, but in Hong Kong you can't race them too often anyway, and when he's going up in class rather quickly, you can't sort of take him to the races all the time. But he was, as I say, favourite for this race last season and he failed, so maybe he's got a little bit more in him.
What about IVICTORY?
IVICTORY's drawn gate 11, so he's got a bit of a task from there. His races have been sound this time, this preparation. I thought he ran much better the other day, but he'll need a little bit of luck from the draw. If he had an inside draw, I'd be more confident of him getting some prize money.
And Full of Beauty, has he had a good preparation for the race? He's had a number of lead-up runs, was running on strongly from a bad draw last time.
Well, he's done a very good job because he only started racing as a 4-year-old, so he's only been racing for about a year or so, and he's come up in class pretty fast. So I think his run was sound the other day, his first try at set weights. He came off a bad draw and had to go back in the field, so he gets a very good switch here in coming in about 9 spaces in the gates. He could give himself the run of the race from there and grab some prize money.
Of your 5, who's in the best position to win on Sunday?
Well, I think they're drawn probably according to their chances, nearly. You know, Hot King Prawn's in 1 and as they work their way out. But so I think the gates are pretty important for this event. It's only a short run to the first turn, and the 3 horses drawn inside will probably get the easiest run. DB Pin's been going very, very well, but it's a disappointing gate from him, and Ryan Moore will have to be at his best to try and get something out of that.
John, good to see you here. The big question, I guess, heading into Sunday, can the Champ Beauty generation bounce back?
Well, we've done everything we could after his last run with respect to tweaking a few issues that we thought might get him back on song again. Of course, he was carrying the grandstand after the last two runs. This time we're on set weights. He was beaten 3/4 of a length, still giving away weight the other day, so we believe that he could make up that ground and be very competitive on the day.
When you look at his last start run in the Jockey Club Mile, is there a reason why he wasn't kicking as well at the top of the straight like we know he can when he's at his absolute best?
Well, if we're going to use excuses, you're going to go back to the first run where he was about 20 odd over, and being an older fellow, it took a lot out of him. So that probably could be one of the reasons you could use with respect to not kicking like he does usually at the 400. But coming back to levels, judging from his work yesterday morning, the feedback from Ramon, the riding boy, I still think he's a force to reckon with.
Are you happy with how things have panned out of the barrier draw for him?
Perfect. Kaiying star inside us, that's a big plus, because I just don't want to get into a situation where we're in a situation where we get back into the box seat and something comes up on the outside and he's just not comfortable in that situation. So the draw is absolutely perfect. Unless there's some unforeseen runner that decides to take on like Kaiying star or something like that, and I'm sure Zach Purton will take evasive tactics and end up back on the outside again. So don't see any problems there.
Alain, you've had great success here in Hong Kong before. Why is EDISA the right horse to bring for this year's meeting?
She travelled very well in America. She do well in a very quick track on the other side, but the track here, you need a horse with we can start very quickly. and she can do that, and she's very consistent. Maybe she's not the top level. I come before with top horses. She's just behind, but she could adapt very well at the track. And I'm waiting for a good performance.
Are you happy with how she settled into Hong Kong and the way that she's prepared for the race?
Yes, no problem. All is so well organized. If your horse is well, he is well.
And with her, she's a 3-year-old filly. What's she like to work with? Is she an easygoing type of horse?
I won the Vase with Daria Kana. She was 3. Because the 3-year-olds are more turn of foot, they are more speed. And it's not, for me, it's not a problem to be 3 or 4 is the same. Because she go in America, she travel, she know everything.
When you look at this year's race, no arm and die, it looks a more open race. Is she a winning hope, do you think?
Winning could be difficult, I think. But if she do well, she have a good place, I could be happy, very happy.
And you mentioned Dayakana Pride before. Coming to Charlton in December must bring back some fond memories for you.
Yes, very good memories. And I was second with Geoffroy, who was a great filly, who won the Falmouth. He was a top filly in Europe. And you need to have top horses, but this year I have not very, very strong horses. I come with a level, not the same level.
Karis, more than this, his win last time out, there was something special about that.
Yeah, it was actually a very strong win. He had the outside gate, and we had to sort of work on him the whole way through the race to get him focused and into traveling into the racing situation. But I was very surprised how he kept on fighting and finished off strongly.
So he's a horse with plenty of natural ability. Is he still learning his craft, so to speak?
Yes, I will say so. He still feel like he's gonna get much better and with time and racing. Especially mentally, he's still a bit young. I think there could be improvement after his few more races.
What about the gate?
Yeah, that's not ideal. You wouldn't want a gate like that, but you know what? We have to deal with it. Last time he had a bad draw and we worked things out. I'm gonna have to sit with Francis, and I'm sure he's gonna discuss with the owner what the plan is gonna be. But he sort of is a horse that you have to leave him where he's comfortable, and for sure he's gonna let down in a straight.
After Sunday's international races, the focus goes on to the 4-year-old series. Could he be contender in that?
Yes, you would think so. The way he's going, and he's doing everything right at the moment. I would think even stepping up in distance later could be the ideal for him. So at the moment, I would recommend yes.
Another horse having his first start in the race is Amazing Beats. He rode him in his trials, a number of them. What sort of feel did he give you?
Yeah, he's actually a very smart horse. He's been trialling nicely. We're supposed to run before at Happy Valley when we did not race, but of course I've done a lot of work on him. But he's a type of horse that after a few more runs he'll start to showing a bit more.